take a deep breath. Not the automatic kind you do every second of your life, but a conscious one, feeling the air entering your body, expanding your chest, traveling through every cell with renewing energy. Now exhale, but do it slowly, fully aware that each breath is a cycle, a rhythm that connects your existence to the entire universe. But here comes the crucial question. What happens when the breath stops? I'm not talking about the end of life, but that moment of pause between inhalation and exhalation, a moment when everything seems to freeze and something mysterious occurs. Since ancient times, great spiritual traditions have regarded breath as a master key to access deeper dimensions of consciousness. In Hinduism, Buddhism, and Taoism, breath control is used to reach states of enlightenment, prolong life, and connect with the primordial energy of the cosmos. Beyond its physical function, breath is seen as the external manifestation of a vital energy, prana, chi, or ruach. With each inhale, we take in more than just oxygen. We absorb a subtle force that connects us to all that exists. However, the true changes don't happen during inhalation or exhalation. They happen in the pause, that tiny fraction of a second when breath ceases and everything appears motionless. This is the point where transformation takes place, a space where time loses meaning, where the mind expands, where great mystics have found the key to transcend the limits of body and mind. In this exploration, we will see how breath can be a vehicle for accessing higher states of consciousness, how the pause between each breath hides a secret protected by sages for centuries, and how you can use this knowledge to transform your energy and your life. Because once breath stops, change happens. Breath has always been much more than a simple biological function. For ancient civilizations, it was the invisible thread connecting body with soul, the bridge between material existence and subtle planes of consciousness. From humanity's earliest records, sages, shamans, and mystics explored the hidden power of breath, discovering that controlling it could lead to spiritual awakening, healing, and even what some call immortality. In the ancient Vedic scriptures of India, pranayama, the art of breath control, is mentioned as a key discipline for attaining the soul's liberation, moksha. According to yogis, prana is not just the air we breathe but the vital energy flowing through subtle channels in the body known as nadis. This is where the pause in breath gains profound meaning. When inhalation and exhalation cease, the flow of prana concentrates and the mind enters a void state where the true nature of being is revealed. But this idea is not exclusive to Hinduism. In the Taoist tradition of China, ancient masters developed qigong, a practice combining breath, movement, and intention to harmonize internal energy. They believed the pause in breath was the point of greatest balance, a moment when qi could accumulate and strengthen the body, prolonging life and awakening extraordinary abilities. Even in Western mysticism, there are references to breath as a link to the divine. In Kabbalah, ruach is the breath of God that breathes life into creation. In Christian tradition, monks of Mount Athos practiced the Jesus prayer, synchronizing their breath with sacred mantras to enter ecstatic states of union with divinity. If there is one concept all these traditions share, it's that breath does not only sustain life but can transform it. The pause between each breath is considered sacred, a portal to a deeper reality where the ego dissolves and only pure being remains. Modern science is beginning to discover what sages knew millennia ago. Research on meditation and conscious breathing shows that slowing breath can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing stress, improving mental clarity, and even slowing cellular aging. Neuroscience studies reveal that when breath becomes slower and more conscious, brainwaves shift to states of greater coherence, similar to those reached in deep meditation. So if the most advanced civilizations of the past saw breath as a gateway to the divine, and modern science confirms its impact on mind and body, what stops us from harnessing its true power? It's time to go beyond automatic breathing and discover how we can use this knowledge to transform our energy and perception of reality. Because when breath stops, even for an instant, the journey into the unknown truly begins. Breath is the link between conscious and unconscious, the only automatic body function we can control at will. But there is a deeper mystery hidden in it, the pause between each inhalation and exhalation. What happens in that silent space? Why did ancient sages say the real power of transformation resides there? To understand, we must see breath not only as a physical process but as an energetic and spiritual key. When we inhale, we absorb vital energy, prana, chi, or whatever name we give it. When we exhale, we release tension, disposing of what the body no longer needs. But between these two moments lies an instant of emptiness, a suspension point where everything stops. And in that instant, according to the great spiritual masters, magic happens. The texts of Hatha Yoga Pradipika explain that when breath halts, the mind calms, and the flow of thoughts slows down. In pranayama practice, this pause, known as kumbhaka, is fundamental. There are two main types of kumbhaka. Antar kumbhaka, internal retention, where after inhaling, the air is held inside the body, distributing and storing vital energy in energy centers. And bahir kumbhaka, external retention, where after exhaling, the emptiness is held before the next inhalation. This second pause is where true transformation happens because the body enters a suspension state, simulating the death of the ego. This external retention is the most powerful. The cessation of air forces the mind to surrender, and in this state, yogis report a sensation of expansion, a connection with infinity. But what happens physiologically when we stop breathing? When we suspend inhalation or exhalation for a prolonged time, the body undergoes radical change. Carbon dioxide levels in the blood rise, causing mild acidosis, which stimulates neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, making us feel relaxed, even euphoric. The brief lack of oxygen activates survival mechanisms that awaken hidden abilities in the body. Tibetan monks have used this technique for centuries to enter deep meditation states. Through the practice of tummo, or inner fire, they combine breath with concentration to generate body heat in extreme conditions. It is documented that these monks can dry wet blankets with their own body heat in sub-zero temperatures, a phenomenon still unexplained by science. Japanese samurai used a breathing technique called ibuki, involving breath retention at key moments before battle to focus their energy and sharpen their senses, allowing precise reactions and calmness in intense moments. Not only Eastern traditions knew this secret. In Sufism, the whirling dervishes use specific breathing patterns to reach trance states and divine connection. In the shamanic rituals of the Americas, breath is intentionally modulated to induce visions and facilitate contact with spiritual dimensions. What does all this tell us? That breath, and especially the pause within it, is not merely a biological process. It is a mechanism to alter perception, transform energy, and connect to higher states of consciousness. How can we use this knowledge in daily life? How do we harness the breath pause to access these expansive states? In the next section, we will explore practical techniques and exercises you can apply today to experience this power for yourself. Now that we understand the crucial role of the pause in breath and how it has been used by spiritual traditions and ancient warriors, let's dive into the most important part: practical application. How do we access this power daily? First, it is important to realize that breath reflects our mental state. When anxious, we breathe fast and shallow. When calm, our breath slows and deepens. But here's the key: it also works the other way. If we learn to control breath, we can modify our inner state at will. The most powerful technique to access the transformational pause is pranayama with retention. This practice involves controlling inhalation, exhalation, and especially the suspension of breath to reach higher states of consciousness. Several methods exist, but here we explore an accessible and effective technique: the kumbhaka exercise for energetic transformation. Find a quiet place and sit comfortably with a straight back. You may close your eyes for better concentration. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds, imagining you absorb vital energy with each breath. Hold your breath for 8 seconds, visualizing energy distributing through your body. Exhale slowly for 6 seconds, letting go of tension and energetic blocks. Pause after exhalation for 4 seconds. This is the key moment. Focus on the sensation of total suspension. No past or future, only the present moment. Repeat this cycle for 10 to 15 minutes. Practicing daily, you will begin to notice subtle but powerful changes. Your mind becomes clearer, thoughts lose weight, and a deep calm settles in your life. You might wonder how something so simple has such a great impact. The answer lies in how breath affects our nervous system and consciousness. When we hold breath after exhaling, the body enters a state of mild controlled hypoxia. This activates adaptive mechanisms that, over time, strengthen immunity, increase lung capacity, and most importantly, generate mental stillness. That is why yogis consider the post-exhalation pause the most powerful. At that moment, all mental activity stops, and we can glimpse the infinite. It is the portal between body and pure consciousness. Some advanced practitioners report expanded perception in this state. The sense of self disappears, and a profound connection with the universe is perceived. This phenomenon is similar to what meditators describe in advanced samadhi states or shamans in spiritual visions. You don't need to retreat to a Himalayan cave to benefit from this practice. You can apply it any time to transform your inner state. Here are some ways to incorporate it. Before a stressful situation, try 5 breath retention cycles before reacting. You will notice immediate calmness. Upon waking, start your day with 10 minutes of this practice to establish a foundation of clarity and energy. Before sleep, do the exercise to enter deep relaxation and improve sleep quality. Ancient masters said habits consolidate after 40 days of constant practice. Are you willing to try? Dedicate just 15 minutes daily for 40 days and watch how your energy and perception begin to shift. The breath pause is not just a technique, it is a gateway to the unknown, a method to awaken a part of you that has been asleep too long. Now you hold the key to open it. So far, we have explored breath's role in energetic transformation and how the pause between exhale and the next inhale is a gateway to higher consciousness. Now, let's deepen into the subtle effects this practice has on perception, energy, and spiritual evolution. In all spiritual traditions, breath is considered a link between the material and energetic worlds. In Hinduism, prana is the vital energy flowing through subtle channels called nadis. In Taoist alchemy, this energy is known as ki. In Western esoteric teachings, it is the divine breath animating existence. Here is a key point. Breath does not only carry oxygen but acts as a conduit for this vital energy. When breath slows and pauses lengthen, a space opens for consciousness to expand. Here is where real change happens. Ancient sages said the number of nadis is 72,000 in the human body. These channels distribute prana, connecting physical, emotional, and spiritual layers. When breath is automatic, prana flows randomly, influenced by external stimuli and mental patterns. But with conscious breath control, we regulate prana flow, sending it where we need healing, vitality, or clarity. The pause in breath acts like a reset button. It halts the usual flow, allowing prana to gather and redistribute consciously. This accumulation can awaken dormant chakras, stimulate kundalini energy, and enhance intuition. Practitioners of pranayama report vivid inner experiences during these pauses. Flashes of light, feelings of warmth, a sensation of floating, or profound silence. These are signs that energy is moving beyond normal limits, expanding consciousness. Spiritually, this practice facilitates what mystics call going beyond the mind. The mind, with its constant chatter, masks deeper awareness. When breath pauses, mental noise fades, and a quiet presence emerges. This presence is pure consciousness or spirit itself, timeless and boundless. Energy-wise, breath retention strengthens the subtle body, the energetic layer underlying physical form. This strengthens immunity, promotes healing, and harmonizes emotions. From a psychological perspective, this practice cultivates mindfulness, emotional resilience, and a sense of inner peace. Breath control connects the practitioner to the present moment, the only moment where transformation occurs. To conclude, the pause in breath is much more than a physical gap. It is a sacred space where energy gathers, consciousness expands, and transformation unfolds. It is the place where we meet ourselves beyond ego, beyond thought, and beyond fear. Are you ready to explore this space? To embrace the power hidden in the simple act of stopping your breath for a moment? Because when breath stops, change happens. And that change could be the doorway to your highest potential.